Oldboy is probably Spike Lee's worst film, and it gives me the sense that maybe, just maybe, Spike Lee doesn't fully understand the Asian movie masterpieces he's trying to recreate. Now, don't get me wrong, Spike Lee's Oldboy from 2013 technically hits all the major points of the original 2003 Korean classic by Park Chan-wook, but somehow it still completely misses the mark. And with Spike Lee and Denzel Washington teaming up again for their latest project, Highest to Lowest, which is based on High and Low, another beloved Asian classic, I can't help but feel a little nervous because the last time Spike tried this was back in 2013, and if that's any indication, we might be in trouble. Now, just to be clear, spoilers ahead for both versions of Oldboy, so you've been warned. Now, let's talk about what worked and what didn't with Oldboy. Spike Lee's Oldboy actually isn't a bad film on its own, to be honest with you, at least I don't think so. If you'd never seen the original, it might even land as a solid thriller. Good pacing, cool fight scenes, a twist ending. But when you hold it up next to 2003 Park Chan-wook's version, it just doesn't tread water. It's not even close. The original version is visual poetry. The art direction, the timing, the characters, the dialogue, all of it feels like it lives and breathes inside a fully realized, deeply disturbing world of its own. Every frame is doing double duty storytelling and symbolism. But with Spike Lee's version, it just hits the checkpoints. You got a deadbeat alcoholic dad, check. 15 plus years of mysterious imprisonment, check. One-shot hallway fight scenes, check. Actually, that was pretty cool in both versions. And an incest twist. Yeah, you got it all. And it tries to touch on the same themes of love, loneliness, and revenge. But here's the thing. Spike Lee's Oldboy feels like it's just checking boxes. It plays like a gritty American revenge thriller like Taken with a disturbing twist, whereas the Korean version is a psychological descent into obsession, trauma, and despair. Where Park Chan-wook's version dives into the emotional and mental unraveling of Odesu, Spike Lee's version kind of just skims the surface, if even that. We don't really feel the trauma of Joe in the same way. He's more angry than broken. Yes, Odesu is obsessed with finding the man who imprisoned him, and he too is also angry. But along the way, every little thing that is shown to us on screen screams of a severely psychologically broken man. Something I think is touched on, but touched on very, very lightly with the Joe character from Spike Lee's version. Psychologically speaking, the Korean version shows how trauma, grief, and obsession with revenge can blind a person to what really matters. Which sort of brings me to the daughter storyline, which really highlights the major differences in tone and execution. In the Korean version, Desu doesn't look for his daughter, hence the blind part. He learns she was adopted and assumes she's gone, out of reach, out of his life forever. That absence creates space for the psychological manipulation to take effect, both on Desu's side and the audience's. But in the American version, Joe is actively trying to find her. He's tracking her down, asking questions, and just fall in love with her in the process, which makes the twist feel less tragic and more like a cruel joke. Back on, like I was saying with the whole blind part, blind by the revenge, this movie, the new edition, sort of shoves everything into the package very neatly. So you see everything. You see the investigation. You see him trying to hunt down his adversary. It works, but it doesn't work. It's like the film is yelling at you, hey, this is going to be messed up, just wait, instead of letting it sneak up and crush you like the original does. Spike Lee's version just feels manufactured. Like it was built in a lab with all the right ingredients, but none of the soul. The Korean Oldboy, though, that is pure art. It's messy, strange, and symbolic. You got the ant hallucinations tied to loneliness, a live octopus eating on camera, hypnosis, all of these peculiar little moments that stay with you and make you think, what does that mean? That's the beauty. It lingers well after the credits. Even the endings are worlds apart. In the Park's version, when the twist drops that Mito is his daughter, Desu is shattered. He cuts out his own tongue, he begs the villain to never tell her. He's emotionally destroyed, and you see it, you feel it, you're right there with it. It's a tragic, morally complicated finale that somehow gives both the hero and the villain a win and a loss at the same time. It's art. Even after knowing the twist and rewatching this movie for this video, I still felt every bit of emotional impact as if it were brand new to me. Normally, you can't really watch a movie where you already know this massive twist ending is coming in, but what makes this pure art is the fact that you can, because there's so much more layered into it than just the twist itself. When Joe finds out Maria is his daughter, he sends her away with a note and returns to captivity voluntarily to keep the truth from her. The tone feels less tragic and more like a bizarre noir ending, more twisted justice than emotionally devastating. And then there's the villains. Lee Woo-jin in the original is cold, calculating, and deeply hurt. His revenge is psychological, almost poetic. Whereas Adrian Price's in Spike Lee's version feels like a cartoon villain, to be honest with you. His background is over the top. Incest, family, scandal, abuse, all jammed in like a soap opera. It doesn't feel layered enough. It feels like a shock for shock's sake. So when I say Spike Lee's Oldboy is his worst film, it's not because it doesn't technically hit everything. It's not a bad movie, technically speaking. It's because it should never have been made in the first place. Trying to recreate Oldboy is like trying to remake a Wes Anderson film. You can mimic the aesthetic, but you can't fake the soul. That style is too tied to its creator's vision. Same with Park. His Oldboy is a singular vision, a film that lives inside its own twisted universe. So yeah, Spike Lee's Oldboy might have worked better as an original film with a different title and characters, but as a remake of a modern masterpiece, it falls flat. That said, I'm still excited to see what Highest to Lowest ends up being. I will be watching it, but I'll also be digging up High and Low, the original Japanese film by Akira Kurosawa, and I'll be comparing the two. Because if you're going to remake a classic, you better bring more than style. You better bring understanding. Lastly, funny enough, Oldboy is based on a manga called Oldboy. So it was the manga which was adapted into the Korean film, which was then made into the American version. And much like High and Low, we do have the original novel, which was then adapted into a Japanese film, which will then be now adapted into an American movie. So we'll see how all of that really works out. And that's it for the video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this out with someone who'd love it. And until next time, what do you recommend?